the only podcast where I, John Bedamillion Gates, interview the so-called common folk who are actually keeping this urbanizing country running. Before we get into today's questions, we have a quick message from our very budget-friendly sponsor. This ad is brought to you by a creature so rare, even I can't afford it, and I'm Mr. Bedamillion.
Why is it in my laundry basket?
It ate all my fruit!
Do not bring that thing into my classroom.
Our first guest is Amelia, an African-American school teacher who has been teaching under the Jim Crow laws. Amelia, how did you overcome the barriers in the education system, such as the Jim Crow laws and the constant threat of lynching and violence?
Overcoming barriers under segregation was hard. Our schools have fewer books, fewer resources, and danger outside the school. Because of Jim Crow laws and the constant fear of lynching, every day was a risk. I made it through because my uncle, who was a sharecropper, inspired me to keep pushing through the unfair and hard times. Through the discrimination against us Black people, my teachers taught me that education was our way to fight back. Now I teach so many students so they can raise their scores and overcome segregation and unfair rules.
People in our time believe in social Darwinism. The idea that Black Americans were naturally inferior. How did you respond to that?
Oh, I responded real quick. That whole survival of the fittest was just pseudoscience used to justify racism. My existence as a Black educated woman teaching the next generation is like proof they were wrong. Every spelling test my kids pass is another slap in the face to social Darwinism. Get that.
Next up, we've got Marco De Luca, an Italian immigrant street vendor trying to survive in the big city. Marco, is there anything you'd like to say about your little side hustle?
My side hustle, I call it survival. Sinignoy. With orientation, packing people like sardines, selling fruit is the only way to keep my tiny apartment lights on. But hey,
Today's sponsor, Marco De Luca's Fruit Cart. Fresh fruit, juicy fruit, cheaper than therapy.
come get your mango. It's only $6 or $7.
How much money do you make?
Is that really an important question to be asking?
Sir, this is just journalism.
This is harassment!
How about a range?
Fine. I make enough to survive. Barely. With narcissism, pushing immigrants like me to the bottom. Work is hard. But one day, I will own my restaurant. Ah!
Let's manifest it then.
At least I got fresh air out here. My Irish friend in the factory works in a loud, owned by a big corporation. Compared to him, I'm lucky.
Bye-bye. Our next guest is Hua Li, a Chinese laundry owner out west, building a business while facing nativism and discrimination. Hua Li, what is your business goals for the next 5 years, and how do you plan to achieve them?
My business aims to expand its customer base and becomes known across the city. I want people to trust my laundry, even if they don't understand my background. My role is to support these goals by improving customer experience, working long hours, and developing new services, like faster washing and pressing, and so people keep coming back.
And all these laws, like the Chinese Exclusion Act, try to keep people like you out. Why? How has discrimination affected your business?
Discrimination has made it harder for my business to grow. I face challenges getting loans, finding good locations, and building trust with some customers and suppliers because of my background. In this age of growing consumerism, people want their clothes clean, but some still won't step into my shop because of my face or my accent. Despite these obstacles, I've worked hard to prove myself and earn respect in the community. This is a letter from Samuel Johnson, who's one of my friends who is a businesswoman.
Now, we're in New York City with Dolores Huerta, a female garment worker in a crowded urban factory. Dolores, with all the long, fast, hard-working hours in the garment factories, what kept you going? And how did you deal with all the difficult obstacles?
Oh, honey, trust me, it was not easy. From 6 or 7 in the morning to what it felt like 21 hours a day. The machines never stopped. The bosses didn't care if we got hurt. The hours were brutal. The machines were loud, and there were literally 0 breaks. But we weren't about to let that break us. Joining a crafts union gave us some clout and a way to actually speak up. We organized with other workers, and we threatened a strike. The bosses finally started to listen.
Some people say workers should just be grateful and have a job. And what the government is doing is they should completely stay hands off. Laissez-faire. What do you think about that?
Laissez-faire? Laissez-faire? That's easy to say when you're trapped in a sweatshop. When the rich enjoy their conspicuous consumption, fancy dresses, hats, jewelry, we're the ones sewing them until our fingers bleed. A totally hands-off government just lets the factory owners and big corporations exploit us. That's why we organize, why we join unions, and why we push for laws that actually protect workers. Women like Susan B. Anthony are out there fighting so women's workers like me can have a voice. I'm just not a seamstress. I'm a part of a movement. Don't talk to me. I'm done.
Sure. After our little incident, we had to readjust our camera. And our final guest for today, a Native American boarding student forced into a boarding school out west. So, what was the hardest part about being forced into a boarding school?
The Americanization. They cut my hair and left me with this. Banned our language and punished us for practicing our culture. Would you believe that? They said social Darwinism proved Native Americans people needed to be civilized. Civilized. Like, hello? No, they wanted obedience. But even in those halls, I remember who I truly was. They erased my name completely, but not my spirit. All of this was just another form of discrimination. Ugh.
Are you negatively affected at all by the existence of social Darwinism? And if so, how do you think you'll struggle with it in your entire life?
Social Darwinism is everything literally around me. It's the excuse they use to cut my hair, ban my language, and force me into Americanization programs. They say our culture is weaker, so they try to erase it. I'm affected every time a teacher tells me my real name is too hard to say. Every time they punish me for speaking literally my own language. Will I struggle my entire life? Maybe the beliefs won't disappear overnight. But they won't win. I will not let them win. My people survived broken treaties and will survive the pseudoscience too. My grandfather, a tribal soldier, reminds me that this land knew us long before these schools did. He says Germanization and Americanization may change how we live, but they will not change who we are. I plan to teach my children our stories to the social Darwinism, and social Darwinism dies out long before our culture does.
Alright, go up. Alright.
Thank you for having me. I hope y'all heard me.